It's always the most fun time for me trying to figure out how I can hear everything through this. Okay, did hear that.
Now we can start the podcast.
Yeah, okay. It's 9 a.m, which means...
Is this the earliest podcast we've ever done?
Me, yes.
Yes.
I had to start getting up before 7, and that sucks.
Ugh.
Ugh.
So other than all that, are we ready to party like it's the greatest year in film?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We are so enthused.
Woo!
Yay.
Today we're talking about Big Daddy.
Oh,
We got
Lord.
up so early for this.
Yeah,
This is the one you wanted to do first.
yeah, we
Yeah.
chose this.
I mean, would you want to start at 9 o'clock? Bicentennial Man podcast?
No.
Getting your ire up. Maybe that would help with the
man.
energy
Oh,
levels.
man.
No.
No, Big Daddy's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Adam Sandler.
Uh,
Well, so I think, like, as Adam Sandler movies have been released, they definitely got, like, there was, like, a trajectory of, like,
Yeah, there's a bell
worseness.
curve.
Yeah.
There's a worseness level to it. And so, like, I stopped watching Adam Sandler movies when they were awful. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, I have to watch Big Daddy. It's going to be awful.
yeah, I thought I was going to hate this movie just
Me
because
too.
of that trajectory.
I feel like I've maybe only seen the 90s Adam Sandler movies.
Which are, like, what? Well, not Waterboy. Waterboy was, like, early 2000s, right?
Yeah, it
I
was
have
around
seen
there.
that one, but like Billy
Wedding
Madison,
Singer.
I
Yeah.
do like that one, but I think Jesus Christ, I don't know when any of these are, but
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite movies.
I think
ever.
Wedding Singer maybe before. I'm not sure.
I think it's definitely before
and then the golf one.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the extent of my.
I've seen a lot. Like, the last one I can remember was, like, Spanglish, which was a weird movie and
I
awkward.
think I maybe saw Mr. Deeds or something.
Oh, there was, like, 50 First Dates.
I did
with
see
Drew
that.
Barry- with Drew
I hated
Barrymore.
that movie.
Yeah. I stopped
was weird.
watching after Anger Management.
Oh, I forgot about Anger Management.
Because I watched it and I thought it was all right because I was a dumb kid, but then I watched it years later and I just hated it. It was the worst.
Is that one where it says
Jack
Goose,
Nicholson.
Goose Fraba?
Yes.
I mean,
Goose Fraba.
I'm not going to be the first to say on a podcast that these are just vehicles for his friends to get paid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
man.
Vacation.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to have been Adam Sandler's pseudo friend,
Right.
To be in his movie to be like, you can do it.
Yeah.
I don't think really factors into any of the later movies. He's just like, I'm fucking rich.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Jeez.
I normally don't want to read IMDb before I do this, but I did read that he and Roy Schneider were like best friends. Rob Schneider. Roy Schneider. Yeah.
Lesser
so-
known Schneider, Roy Schneider.
Yeah. That's what happens when he slicks back his hair.
And he goes, Roy.
Yeah. But yeah, they were apparently best friends. So, and I also found out that Adam's wife is in this movie
Okay.
as the bar waitress.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Huh.
I was like, this woman has a decent amount of spotlight in her in this scene. I wonder if it's someone he knows. And it is.
It's
Yeah.
his wife.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or at least at the time, I have no idea. I don't follow celebrity lives.
So it's surprising to me that, like, I watched it and it was like, I was kind of into it. Like, this is not a bad movie.
Oh yeah, when it came out, I really liked it.
I did
Me too. It was a whole, like, everybody loved it.
I don't know if I saw it in theaters or not. I think there was a time period where my dad was taking us to lots of movies in theaters, but I don't know if this is one of them or not. But I definitely know we had, like, the VHS copy of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we wore it out.
Yeah. That and, like, Waterboy was another one we watched a lot of.
Yeah.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
I don't know why we watched that one as much, because I know we watched that one more than once, but it would have been earlier than I think the others, because my memory of that one is much more vague.
Mm-hmm.
So, Big Daddy.
But I didn't remember shit about this movie either, and I thought I knew what it was.
Yeah.
So
I
Same
remember.
here.
I remember a lot. I remembered a lot. It was just like there's so many things of it that I was like, oh, I even say things from this movie that I forgot that came from this movie.
Really?
Or like, we should probably talk about the plot first, but like,
Yeah.
we'll get into the actual scenes and stuff that I remember, like even referring to them in my real life to tell people, like to explain stuff. More on that in a minute.
Okay.
Put a pin in it.
Put some beans on it. The IMDb summary is: a lazy law school grad adopts a kid to impress his girlfriend. But everything doesn't go as planned, and he becomes the unlikely foster father. That wording is horrible. Everything doesn't go as planned.
I don't think there was a plan.
I definitely don't remember. I didn't know that he was ever a lawyer, like, dropout. And two, I couldn't...
After watching this time?
No, I understand now, but when I first watched it, maybe it was like as a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, I didn't get why he was getting, like, how he lived without a job.
Yeah, because it was very... They explained, like, why he could live without a job, because they keep referring to that lawsuit. Mm-hmm. But, like, him being a dropout was only really referenced by...
no, he graduated. He just hasn't taken the bar.
Right. Yeah. It was only just, like, hinted at. So, like, a kid probably would not pick up on that.
Right.
It's adult talk.
There's, like, this little moment later, like, at the party, where they have to show you that he actually fucking knows his stuff because his friend is struggling with the case, and he's like, well, why don't you use this blah, blah, blah act from...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His friend's like, you're fucking genius. I gotta go. I'm out of here. So the beginning of the movie is he's rolling out of bed. He gets a call from his dad. There was so much just fucking exposition.
Yeah.
Exposition dialogue, things that humans would never say to each other. That I think here's big capital letters I have written egregious with squigglies. Dialogue is awful, so much exposition.
Yeah, like immediately out of the gate in the first 10 seconds with those weird transitions that
100% of the dialogue is just shit that nobody would actually say to each other.
Yeah.
I thought our copy was, when we were watching on the computer, and I thought it was bugged because of the transition would kind of like freeze frame, and they would talk, and it was just awkwardly transitioned between the juxtaposition of like, hope you're not wasting your life or money or whatever, and he's got the surfboard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
You still act like you're 6.
I don't know. I could see some dads saying that.
Any luck finding a job where you can work more than one day a week?
I could see a dad saying that too.
But not like specifically...
Every time that he makes a phone call to him?
Quite possibly.
But the whole specific, more than one day a week.
All the money I won from the cab accident is kicking ass in the stock market.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not something.
You know what you should spend it on? Your bar exam. These are exact quotes because I wrote them down because I was so mad. You're the lawyer in the family. Everything we learn is in this phone. Like,
it's the setup. Yeah.
And then one of the worst was he's arguing with his girlfriend at this point. He has turned off the alarm because he wants to sleep in. Right. And she gets pissed. And he's like, why are you even going to work on a Saturday? She said, that's how a party planner meets her clients. Like, okay, we have to do it. She's a party planner. Great. That's important for some reason. You order from there all the time. The delivery guy's like your best friend. A cab runs over your foot 2 years ago.
Yeah, wow. It is.
You spent one night in the hospital. One night of pain was worth $200,000. Like, we know all of these details because of this argument that no one would have.
Yeah, God.
Because you refuse to move on to the next phase of your life, and I, on the other hand, would like to have a family someday. Exact quotes.
These are just audience shortcuts.
Yes. It's very
like
bad.
I understand all that, but it's also just like now all that information is out there.
Done so much more subtly.
Yeah,
but if you do that, you also have to do it over time and like.
Also, think about the target audience for this movie.
And also, even if you do it over time, it's possible those scenes could get cut, and now you got continuity issues. So,
but that's the thing. Like, even though the audience was more kids and family, you still didn't understand any of that.
Well, yeah.
So, what good did it do?
I don't know what a civil lawsuit is, or $200,000. What the heck?
I don't know how much that is. How many zeros is that?
I'm a stupid 10-year-old. So that happened, and like. What the heck? I can't even remember what happened after that. It was like some party. Oh, right.
Yeah,
his roommate, his best friend roommate, who's the actor?
Jon Stewart.
He was actually very young.
Horrible. He was a very bad actor.
He's a very young Jon Stewart.
Yeah. His best friend's having a surprise birthday party. And we see like a montage of like what Sonny, right? Mm-hmm. That's his name. Sonny's day job was, which he works at a toll booth. And then he comes home late and he opens the door and they all go, surprise! And it's not the roommate.
It's not the roommate.
It's Sonny.
Roommate's girlfriend gets pissed off.
Yeah, because then the roommate shows up. And
while that front door is still open.
Yeah, and then there's no surprise.
Can we talk about this apartment for a minute?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy and I want it.
It's like...
every movie apartment in that era. It's always like a former warehouse, former factory.
Like a Friends, Walls
of glass, rooms of glass, with like
spiral staircases,
bridges between rooms.
Yeah,
it's like a Harriet the Spy, like
it's amazing
dream room. Yeah, I wonder how much that cost a month.
That's the other thing.
How the hell do you afford it?
That's a lot of square footage.
I mean, all of his friends are practicing lawyers, so
yeah, I suppose, but still,
and his money from that cab accident is kicking ass at the stock market. So,
oh my god,
it just reminded me of like the base in like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Foot Clan, where it's just like arcade cabinets because he had pinball table.
He did.
And yeah, all of that, just signs from everywhere.
And a very impressive sound system behind the couch. Like, that looked pretty complicated for 99.
And a tiny old TV.
Yeah.
On like a cart.
God.
So that's where all the money goes, I think, is the apartment. And
also, there was more exposition in that party, like learning about the two friends who ended up like dating each other and like are in love with each other now. And it was like stuff like things that, again, nobody would ever, the real human would say to each other. It was like, remember when they started showering together or something? And it's like, what? No, I don't want to remember. What are you talking about? Stuff like that. But also just in trend with the other movies we've talked about so far, it's like, this is one of those movies where, like, I don't remember it standing out to me as a kid that these two dudes were making out.
I didn't remember it at all.
I don't remember how overt it was. So anytime people are like, oh, kids are going to think something's wrong, I didn't even register as that was weird.
Yeah, did not make an impression.
I guess I was of the age where that was shocking and was overt.
Well, you're 3 years older than us.
Yes, because even though, like, you know, I grew up and like that was fine. That was how, like, some people were gay and that's just how it was. It was still shocking because of that type of movie for the audience that it was intended, it was not something that was really talked about much.
Yeah.
So for it to happen immediately, but in the context of the way it was presented was like really big and shocking because it was like, it was something that happened out of nowhere featuring two people who were not
established
typically
yet. They're straight presenting.
Yeah, they're both wearing suits and ties and they're talking about law and then they kiss. And it was the after effects that was also a good combination with that shock. Whereas like that happened and you had that character who only existed to be uncomfortable around them and also to be admonished for that.
Right.
Yes.
100%.
Because I can't remember his name. Like all I remember is that he existed.
I made sure to write it down.
Purely to be kind of like
the
reprimanded.
homophobic friend that needs to be broken up with by the friend group.
Because in every single scene he's like, this makes me feel weird. I'm going to go to the next urinal down.
Or like he rolls his eyes when they say sweet things to each other.
Right.
And for like my age group growing up, you would see, you know, people would call each other gay as like an insult.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. And now
That's
you're
definitely
seeing
a middle school thing.
Yeah, and now you're seeing basically the personification of middle school in that guy.
Yes.
And he's getting made fun of now.
Yeah.
Of like, no, that's just how they are.
That's so cool.
They're our friends. They're also our gay friends. So deal with it.
100%. Those three characters could have been one character because the couple was always just around to like be the sounding board. Like there was no reason for there to be two of these people.
Right.
And without these two, there was no reason for that third guy.
Yeah.
So the only reason that any of them are there is to do that, is to show that. I don't know why he would choose this movie to do that specifically. Like, I mean, because it was what I'm saying is a very conscious decision.
Maybe it was all
to
about
demonstrate this.
Because it's like interesting because even like the family thing aspect of it too, where it's like accepting who we are as we are, like his whole dad thing. It's like, Dad, this is who I am kind of deal, and you're my father and you love me kind of stuff, so just accept this. And also same with Julian, you know, the little boy, which we haven't even gotten to yet, but he too is like, I can be this kid's dad. Like, I can accept this child. It doesn't matter like where he came from or whose kid he is. I'm going to accept this child. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know if it was actually that well thought out. Like, this is all about acceptance. And
you have convinced me, though.
Okay. This whole movie's about acceptance and unconditional love.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was thrown in there, too. But I don't know.
Found family.
Yeah.
I also like that. I know with the couple, a good portion of their scenes were about, like, them being gay in this group, but like there were still scenes where like that wasn't a factor, like when they were talking about law.
Absolutely. Like,
and I like that it was presented that way too. They weren't just there to be that, But they were there mostly to be that.
Right. Like, there was a lot that was over dramatic and overplayed. Like,
the making out on the couch. Like, I wouldn't do that with...
Yeah, it was a pretty forceful kiss.
I think your arms are nice. Yeah. But then they high-fived as soon as they were out the door, and I thought that was the best thing that I've ever...
A kiss and a high five.
Yeah. It was so cute.
I also noticed that they were walking out of the party holding hands, too.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Cute.
So I think it was a good presentation for this kind of movie against this audience.
And then something else that I noticed with them was, let's say they're at the park with Sunny, they're sitting like holding hands or one hand on the other's leg, and Sunny sits right next to them, like he doesn't put any space between them. He basically sits as close as they're sitting together.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think that was another interesting thing to depict.
Yeah.
Was like, there's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah. So yeah, surprising thing in an Adam Sandler movie. We don't really think of Adam Sandler movies being like...
And they were also like so much more functional as a couple than most movie couples.
Yeah, true. I was at the party.
And I don't know if it was actually sweet. I'm saying this as like a straight guy. I don't know if it was depicted in a good, meaningful, proper way. Like...
There's something toward the end I want to talk about.
Okay.
And we'll put
There were some scenes that it seemed a little iffy.
Okay, so continuing. We're at the surprise party because the roommate is going off to China for some kind of law thing. It's amorphous, I don't know, business trip.
Right, exactly.
For like 6 months.
Was it 6 months or was it more like, was it 6 months?
I think it was 6 months.
Jeez.
Let me see if I actually have the number.
There was no timeline for me. I felt like everything happened within a week.
I wrote down the exchange between the homophobic friend and Sunny too.
Exposition.
Yeah. Still a little weirded out when they kiss. Why? They're gay. That's what gay guys do. I know, but they were like brothers to us back in school.
Okay.
They're still like our brothers, our very, very gay brothers. Yeah, it would be weird if, given all of this exposition, they had never said how long he was supposed to be gone. Yeah. So I think it was in there, but I didn't write it down.
He was going to be gone for enough time for things to happen.
For some shit to go down.
And by shit, I mean the very next day?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the next day, right? He's gone. The girlfriend of the roommate's cleaning up.
Yeah.
And then there's a knock on the door. Surprise, there's a sad child. With a giant ski hat and clothes, wearing like 4 layers of clothes.
Who was it that brought him? It was like...
I think...
Who was it supposed to be? Was it supposed to be like an older
some
cousin?
Random person, I think?
Yeah. Oh, no, it was just like an older kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because someone gave him money to drop off this kid.
Right.
Because he didn't care, because once the kid was dropped off, he's like, whatever, I'm
Peace.
out.
Yeah.
Here's your kid.
I think it was just some kid that the mom had delivered.
Yeah, I think specifically, the mom had done that.
So... What's the deal with this kid? Why is he here?
So I think there's like a letter that he has, right? And then Adam's reading it and comes to find out that it's supposed to be his roommate's child.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember the roommate's name. Jeez.
John Stewart.
John Stewart, yes. So it's
Kevin.
Kevin, okay. So it's Kevin's child. And so he's reading this letter and like... calls Kevin at the airport and says, hey, there's this thing and but it says I can take this child to such and such social services and then they'll take care of it.
Right. They have a foster family lined up if you don't want to take him.
And then Kevin is like, well, should I take care of it? And then Adam's like, no, I'll take care of it. I'll take this kid to the foster services or whatever. Which then he immediately calls them and they're closed for a holiday weekend.
Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Columbus Day.
Funny because that's going to be not a thing in 20 years.
Yeah, for real. So
unless it just changes its name to Indigenous Peoples Day, which a lot of people are doing.
There you go. And so he's like, well, shit, I guess you're going to hang out with me today, buddy. And they hang out.
Yep, they go to a bar.
What do you eat? Food? Yeah, I eat food too.
I love his little voice. It was like, Sonny, I feel bad. Like stuff like that. I love it so much. He's got that perfect, like, obviously, like, so tiny, cute, little warbling kid's voice that I love so much.
His mouth is always hanging open. He's got a striped shirt because he's a kid.
Uh-huh.
In the 90s.
Definitely.
Stripes were big.
So they go to the bar. They meet the old man who's Always drunk and also senile.
He drinks a lot of soda.
Yes.
One of those weird Adam Sandler type characters.
Yeah.
In all of his movies. There's some of these people are just bonkers.
Just some wacky old person who's around for some reason. He comes back at the end for, again, some reason.
Some reason. And then that's when you see Adam Sandler's wife, the bartender, talking to the kid. And then I don't even know what happens after that. They go on like a little... Do they go to the park?
Yeah, I think they might go to the park that first day.
Or like watching...
They're going to watch rollerbladers fall down.
Yes. In Central Park, yeah.
Make them fall down.
AKA make them fall down.
And then, peeing on walls and stuff like that.
That whole montage is a blur for me because it's like he took one day to spend time with this kid, and then like the next day he's decided he's going to keep the kid. Yeah,
because after that day, then he starts knocking over rollerbladers, doing his own things. Like the influence of Sonny is becoming visible. Yeah. So Sonny's like, this is kind of cool. I'm going to keep this kid.
He's a lot like me.
And also, my girlfriend said that she wanted a family. Right. So, look, I can do it. We can have a family. I want to say her name is Jessica or like something like that.
Vanessa?
I was close.
Close.
So, yeah, he decides, I'll keep this kid because this kid's cool. And then he shows up to Vanessa's...
But his gay couple friends are like,
oh, yeah, I forgot.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, because they were like making fun of him saying like... It's like when a woman says like they'll have a kid to fix the relationship, but he's presenting it as like this is a stupid thing to do, and he's like, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So he actually makes the phone call at this point to social services to cancel.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm Kevin, and then I don't want this. Yep.
And his friends are like, okay, that happened.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they told him to sleep on it,
and he did not.
And he borrowed their cell phone, which was huge.
Yes. Wow. So that's when he takes him over to Vanessa, right?
Yes.
Shows up at Vanessa's house. Oh, and there was a cute thing too.
There's a lot of cute things
with
in there
the sunglasses.
That. Yeah.
Oh, that was a really good
There's
concept.
like a lot of just like bonding scenes.
Yeah. Like
holding hands across the street.
Yes. Oh my God.
Because he was always extending his arm, because that's what he always did crossing the street.
Right. Yeah.
And Sonny just doesn't think about stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, the hand holding thing.
Yeah.
So cute.
When did the glasses first come into play?
It's around that time. I think it's on their way to going to see Vanessa.
Yeah.
And he's like, what if she doesn't like me?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, here, you can hide. These are magical sunglasses. And if you put them on, you'll be invisible and no one else can see you.
And I like that he played with that the whole time. Like, anytime that happened, he immediately went into that mode of like...
Yeah. And I like how Vanessa opens the door and then he's like, if there's any invisible people out here who want to come in, you can.
Like, she's like, what's with the kid? And he's like, what kid?
Yeah.
He's invisible.
So good. I love it. I love kid stuff, so this was really good. I liked Sonny's approach to play. I definitely think he got the play aspect down.
Yeah.
And that was really good. So yeah.
But even like just making, it's not even so much play as here's how to make a kid comfortable.
Yeah.
Like here's how to make him happy and feel good about himself. Confident.
So we get to Vanessa's place and he's like, here's a family. And she's like, what? I didn't mean go get a kid. And she's acting very kind of like
cagey.
Yeah, and like kind of like obviously hide something, and Sonny starts to pick up on it.
Why is the bathroom door closed?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why is it locked?
And then he finds who comes out. I don't even know who it is.
Some old man.
Old man.
Sid and his old balls.
I'm sure they're nice.
Finds out that they're sleeping with each other.
Together, that she found somebody who's got this great business plan.
He has like a moment of, oh God, it's just her dad or uncle or something.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not at all.
It's not.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, sorry, man. I hated to meet you like this or whatever as he did. And it's like, oh, wait, this is not her father. This is her, I don't know.
She's booed up with him.
Yeah, ugh. Weird.
So now that he doesn't have the support of this girlfriend, he decides, okay, well, we gotta take him to the foster family now because I cannot do this alone.
Right.
talks to social services again.
Yes.
Is this when he goes into the office this time?
Yeah.
And he has Sonny sitting at the back wall, or he has Julian sitting at the back wall.
Right, because this is where he had taught him to tie his shoes.
Yes. So he's talking to the social worker saying, we need to do this. This was a mistake. And in the middle of that talking, the social worker's like, well, because we don't have a foster family, it might take a while. You have to bounce around and basically go to an orphanage, but they don't call it an orphanage anymore.
Yeah.
And, a home.
A group home.
And at this point, Julian runs up and shows Sonny that he's able to tie his shoes, which, by the way, loop, swoop, pull is something that I have always known to tie shoes, and it's how I taught my sister.
Really?
Yeah, loop, swoop, pull.
I was always the bunny around the tree.
Nope.
Oh, I didn't know that one either.
I can't remember it now. And I can't remember how to tie my shoes now because I do
the fancy way.
I forget what the knot is called. It's just like
I do
the
one
Ian
that
knot.
Kevin talks about at the end. I do that one.
Okay.
We do this Ian knot where it's the same knot, but you do it in like 2 seconds or whatever. And like, I can't go back to doing the old way. My brain doesn't.
I don't
doesn't
either.
work.
Brandon showed how me do it, and now I can just go, I'm done.
It's like,
That's so cool.
It's 2 motions. Like you do your initial.
Like you're doing it all at once.
Yeah. And then you just go up, down, you're done.
Wow.
Yeah. It's almost like a knitting thing.
Gotcha.
So it feels like
loops and loops.
Like when you do like a long tail cast on, it almost feels like that when you just do one pull.
So like I'm watching.
Relatable.
Yeah.
So I'm watching like these shoes being tied, and I'm like, how does this work anymore? I don't understand.
Switchcraft.
Loop,
swoop, and pull, I guess.
But yeah, so he shows that, and then Adam Sandler's character Sonny is like, oh well, I don't really want him to put. How about we just have it so he stays with me until you get a foster family?
Well, we find out here that what happened to his mother is that
she died of
had died like that day.
Yeah,
because she was sick with cancer, and the guy at social services was like, she must have sensed that her time was up. And so she wanted to get him to his family. They keep saying the natural father is what they would have preferred.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like you were saying, they start trying to renegotiate this, like, okay, let's pretend you just never came in here.
Yes.
I will be looking for a foster family while you keep the kid.
Right.
That was a kind of nice moment because it's like,
yes,
this is a person who works for the government, is used to bureaucracy, but he's also at the same time just like, just going to let it pass in terms of like, if you didn't come in, this wouldn't have happened. So
yes,
just pretend.
Like you could have just placed a phone call and said, I changed my mind, send him to a foster family.
Which I mean, in the real world is potentially dangerous, but like, at least for this movie, you know, he sees that the kid is in good hands and
right.
whatever.
Like he's somehow convinced him that his name is Kevin Garrity. And
without any identification.
No ID.
Yep. God.
No legal paperwork. At this point, Sonny calls his own dad, Collect, of course.
Yep.
For advice. His dad is also not supportive. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
This is our more subtle exposition that their relationship has been contentious for a while. Like, there's, of course, arguing on the phone at the beginning, but this is a little more deep-seated, it feels like.
Oh, yeah, because he was arguing in that on the payphone. Because he was telling the kid to go play with the pigeons while he yelled at this dad. Or something like that. I can't remember if that was the same scene, but yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Will you accept this call from your beautiful baby boy? Yeah. And he picks up the phone. Yeah, was there a part where he just like starts slamming the phone into the payphone? Yeah, okay. Thought so.
And so at this point, he's like, fuck it, I got this kid. We're going to have a great time. Kid, you do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, you know, I was always told everything what to do. I'm going to be the opposite. You can make your own choices, which is great for the first, like, day.
Yeah, there are limits. And this movie does a really good job showing that in some aspects this is good and you can't just keep doing this.
Right.
Like, I like that it doesn't idealize being that, like, happy parent of like, yeah, just do whatever you want.
Right.
There are consequences.
Free range parenting, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Because, like, what was it one time he wanted to eat and it was just like, you could just see that table.
30 ketchup packets.
Oh,
gross.
Oh, it makes me want to gag. And then there's like his stupid kangaroo
oh my gosh.
thing.
This is around the time when Sonny started seeing the downsides of kids.
Right.
Or raising kids.
God, you were normal yesterday.
Yes.
Because that was like the when he wet the bed and he just put newspapers on it. But then the kid was flopping around on the newspapers.
So he couldn't go back to sleep.
It was like crunch, 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 crunch.
The rule of threes absolutely got me with that newspaper thing. Like, it was so good. Because it was like, that first morning, this was after, I think, the newspaper situation with the bed. The kid spills a bunch of milk and he just goes straight for the newspaper.
Yeah. And then the third one when he vomits from eating all that stuff.
And you don't even see the newspapers, just like hidden behind some pillows on the couch, and there they come.
And that's what I was talking about at the beginning, was like that scene. I have talked about like the newspapers where I'm like, and work situations where I'm like, when nobody wants to actually fix the problem, I'm like, it's that scene in Big Daddy where he just keeps putting newspapers on top of piss and spilled stuff and vomit. And I feel like this is happening in this work situation now. We keep making workarounds just to not acknowledge the vomit, but we really just need to clean up the vomit.
Oh, I just remembered something.
What?
All the newspaper stuff happened before he saw Vanessa. He was putting it down because he didn't know how to clean it, and he was waiting for her to get back to fix that. So he was just patching it up until she came back.
Wow.
That's a good point.
I forgot that happened beforehand.
It absolutely did.
Some of it did. The vomit was after Vanessa.
It was before.
Was it really?
Based on my notes.
Wow.
Because I remember he was struggling with the milk and cereal because, I mean, he's a kid, and when it's
a gallon of milk.
Yeah, you don't think about that as an adult. But like I remember as a kid being happy once I was able to pour my own cereal because that was an obstacle as a kid, the giant gallon of milk.
Yeah. Interesting.
I also found that scene very, very sad because the kid gets so upset.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's this thing of trying to do things on his own now. Like he's trying to be a strong grown up.
Well, I think it's just with kids in general. Like they have such a limited range of experience. So a lot of things are a lot more emotionally upsetting.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, that's why I always get a little upset with parents who yell at a child who drops something, because I mean, that's you
don't have motor control.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you
physically.
don't that, and then also like that was my thing I just broke, and it is the only. I don't know if I'll ever get that thing again because I don't know how acquiring things happens, or like they drop their ice cream cone. It's like, but that was mine, and now it's gone, and they're just fixated on that. That was mine. That was this thing that was important to me, and they don't realize that like. It's okay. It can be replaced, and it just can be a new yours. And so when those kinds of things happen to like basically 8 and under, they don't have that experience yet. And so the pouring that milk and like you're in a new place, you don't know where your mom's at, you're trying to be good for this person, and then it was a really sad scene for me too.
Oh, God.
Oh.
We were at the part where he was doing whatever he wanted. Having his name be Frankenstein.
His name's Frankenstein.
And choosing to want to go to school.
Yes.
That was cool.
And he's hanging out with his friends again.
Yeah.
He's like, see, he chooses to do the right thing.
Yeah. I want to go to school.
This is some new kind of parenting I'm on here. His friends are like, okay.
But I like when he's starting to learn also that kids need some sort of structure and guidance. I think also it was really funny to me when the teacher pulled him in and was like, you have a stinky child, essentially.
I let him become the smelly kid?
Yes.
Oh, this was something I really liked about the movie. Even though the guy's an idiot, anytime someone with experience tells him about the kid, he'll listen to them.
Yeah.
And he was asking the teacher specifically, like, what can he do to do?
He's taking it very seriously.
Yeah. And even the sister, in the grocery store, who he's always making fun of for working at Hooters.
Kevin's girlfriend.
Yeah. Even she taught him something, and like
the rash.
For that brief moment, like he actually was receptive to getting information. So I really like this back and forth with the teacher, even though it was like she listed off all these things and he was like being defensive in each one until it became to the smelly kid, and he's like, shit, this is serious.
Yeah. And directly after that, he starts addressing all of those points. Like, okay, we're going to study, we're going to wash up.
Yep. I like when they were trying to do spelling words. And so what I was telling you, like things I forgot that came from this movie, when they have Rob Schneider's character, the delivery man, in there, he's also participating in the spelling
because
words.
He's some kind of foreign. It's
very vague.
He
Ambiguous.
speaks some Russian.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but I mean, there are multiple countries that speak Russian, so who knows where he's from?
Yeah, and like they're doing the cards, and Sonny's doing a really good job, and then he has to do his words, and it's hip hippopotamus.
Hip-hop anonymous.
Hippopotamus.
So good.
And he goes, "You give him the easy ones."
Whereas the ones that Julian got were like Philadelphia. And
Oh yeah, because he was preparing for the play.
Yeah. Oh, which was so cute. He's Ben Franklin. Benjamin Franklin.
Was a diplomat.
Vantor. God, I love it so much.
So before we get on the straight and narrow here, he's still Frankenstein.
Yes.
They go to the park with a very specific purpose.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about this whole arc. Picking up chicks.
Picking up girls.
Yeah. Help me, I'm lost, and I don't know where I am.
And this girl's like, all right, this isn't a problem. We're going to calm down. And almost immediately Sunny comes up and is like, oh my God.
There you are, my precious baby boy. Something like that. Not really, but.
Yeah, she sees right through it.
Immediately, because she's smart. And also a lawyer, I think, but a different type.
Yeah.
So many lawyers.
Yeah.
And this girl that he picks up is actually the sister of Kevin's fiance.
Yes. And who is it? Is it Renee Zellweger?
No. I forget. It's a name I can't remember, but
she's in Chasing Amy.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Joey something.
She's just a human smile. Anytime she smiles, that's her head. It's so giant.
It's horrifying.
There's something very alien about this woman. I'm like...
And she was in the opening party scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she was. She was calming down her sister in the bathroom by telling some convoluted story.
Sunny had so fucked up her night.
Oh, please. Yeah. Please.
Like,
the world will continue.
Not only did he ruin the surprise for Kevin, but he's about to propose.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this whole part.
Sunny's like, you're not proposing, are you?
I forgot about that.
Actually, yeah, I am, man. And so so this woman has every right to be
yes, that's true.
Oh yeah, and he was like, well, think about it.
Yeah. He's cautious about this, but not about picking up a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so he meets I can't remember her name.
And his quote at the park is, "Oh, your sister's Corinne? That sucks."
That sucks. Well, I can't remember what her name is.
It's Layla. He says, "Your name's Layla? I like your song."
Jeez.
He somehow convinces her to come hang out.
Yeah.
By making the kid say something to her.
Oh, yeah.
That was also very obvious.
Weird emotional manipulation going on.
Yes.
But she saw it and went willingly.
I mean, she seemed like she liked being around this guy, so...
Yeah.
It wasn't just a trap.
Her sister had apparently not poisoned the well.
Yeah.
Well enough. They have story time.
Oh, yeah. God, this is the part where the movie where I'm like, ugh, this is getting too sappy for me.
Yeah, they started talking to each other.
It was kind of cute. I like how he handled being rejected. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that was a good way to do that rather than force it.
Yeah.
Especially like her response and experience was like, it's just not the right time.
Yeah. Like, I am not ready for a relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, even though you are very cool, I might be interested, but I can't right now.
Yeah. It's a fun way of doing exposition without just going right into it.
Exactly. Yes. See, there are subtle ways. The kid has this Scuba Steve doll.
Yeah.
Scuba Steve!
That was good. Oh, was this when he was getting a bath? Oh, right, because after the finding out he's a stinky kid.
I'm Scuba Sam, Scuba Steve's father.
Yeah. Scuba Steve needs to take a bath, but he doesn't want to do it alone. Yeah. Can you help me out?
That was pretty cute.
That's good.
So Sunny goes and dresses up like his doll, like this doll, and pretends to be this doll's dad to convince the kid. And he also puts in this part about, what is it, the Scuba Squad?
Yeah, and you have to be smart to be in the Scuba Squad.
Right, so you have to study.
Because he was not wanting to study, he was playing Twisted Metal instead.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Were the sounds accurate?
No.
Okay. I always have to ask that.
Yeah, and then he was like really excited about studying and taking a bath and doing that.
So basically what I like there is that this is me and like my behavioral sciences mind is like, people want to like say you do the bath, do these things and you'll get X, you'll get like candy or whatever. That doesn't work for long term. And so I like that they use intrinsic, like Julian loves Scuba Steve.
Here's
Julian
something
loves,
continuous.
Yes. And it feels good because it's like, that's something that he really wants to be like Scuba Steve. And so it's like an intrinsic, like, what will really motivate this kid? Right. It's his love of this fictional character.
Rather than some tangible reward, what's going to make him feel good.
Yeah, after.
When he's already used to just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, because then the kids will just find a way to do it and then get it done, and then they'll get the thing they want anyway, even though they really didn't do it they're doing it not for themselves, but for the candy or whatever.
Around this time, social services calls and says that they have a family lined up. He just gets the voicemail.
Yeah.
Which he deletes immediately. Like, he is obviously now struggling with this.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth.
Mm-hmm. I think because initially he didn't feel that he was able to take care of this kid.
Yeah.
Alone. But then his dad pisses him off, so he's like, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
I should try.
And then he ends up falling in love with this little kid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he says as much.
Yes. He has a date with Layla. And another move that I liked was that the kid was hanging out with the couple.
Mm-hmm. Back at home.
Which was important, that he left this child with a gay couple.
Yeah.
That was important to depict.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's usually the thing that shitty people bring up.
Yes.
That drives me nuts. So I'm glad that was presented like babysitting day.
Yeah. He's playing cards with one of them.
I win!
It's like, what are the rules? I win!
I love it also because you played it with Raj Shah. You always win! I love his character.
Oh, and while the guys are babysitting him, the social services guy actually comes over.
Right. Does he find out at that point, or are they still covering for
they're
Sonny?
Covering for him, but I think he's suspecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because one of them knows what's going on and immediately went to the door and was like, oh, no, it's just a misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah.
Like, yeah, the guy comes to the door asking for Kevin, and the guy's like, Kevin's in China?
Oh, yeah, because he did not, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they coordinated that story beforehand. No. You don't expect social services to show up at your door, so.
Yeah. Uh-oh. So now the trouble is starting.
Right.
I have in my notes at the restaurant that gross older mob boss looking guy eating or being fed by his girlfriend.
Different women all the time.
They had that gross scene where they're both eating a sausage from opposite ends.
What's that all about?
Did I blank this out of my memory?
I think you did. It was disgusting.
I noticed it too.
Because there was one scene where he's being fed explicitly, but then the scene closes out with them just chomping the bit on opposite ends. It's really strange.
I don't remember this. I
promise it's in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I've removed it from my memory.
This is probably my least favorite scene of this movie.
What old couple? What couple?
It was the really
Some
huge
giant
guy, Italian guy.
At the restaurant when they're at the date.
Okay. I blanked this.
Yeah, because he had mentioned to Layla, like,
they talk about him.
Yeah.
I don't remember this at all. Like, I can't even remember, like, I don't remember this at all.
Just another weird side character in an Adam Sandler movie.
Okay. Well, I guess I have to watch this movie again.
No.
So he and Layla have connected over enjoying the band Styx and being, which is like...
That's all you need, I guess.
I feel that. I get it. I like Styx and people don't. So I started a count of all of the Styx songs that I heard, but it was actually the same song like 3 times.
Okay.
One of them was a cover.
Yeah, the rights to only one.
There was another one at the bar earlier, but...
Gotcha.
I know too many Styx songs, I guess.
I noticed the kid was wearing a rainbow flag pin at a certain point when he was dressing himself.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was front and center on his cape, I think. I'm just flipping through notes and seeing little bits and boops that I noticed.
Oh, the line when they're Julian finally agrees to bathe.
Yes.
With the Scuba Steve. He's like, why do I have to wear swim trunks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, I don't know the rules with little kids and grown-ups and being naked, and just sit down.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's cute. Then there's the school play.
I want to sign it. I want to sign it. All those kids. The mob of kids.
Yeah. So cute.
And then they're at the apartment. The delivery guy, Rob Schneider's there, and social services shows up again. But Sonny is actually here this time. And he's like, I know who you are.
Because he actually said, hey, Sonny. And he goes, oh, hey, what's up?
You just called me Sonny.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I have to take this kid. And then it's, then they make me cry.
Yeah.
Because it's like they have to go around and collect all of the kids' things, and the kid's like, I
want to go. I want to stay with Sunny.
I'll be good.
I wipe my own ass.
I wipe my own ass. I wipe my own ass.
That kind of killed it for me, but earlier in the movie, we see that like he hands Sunny this videotape.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, the Kangaroo song. I always watch the Kangaroo song after a nap. And it's, of course, insufferable.
Yes.
It is horrible. It's some guy bouncing around singing some song dressed as...
Hop, hop, hop. Something stupid.
Yeah, something like that.
And he actually registers that Sunny hates this.
Yeah.
And so when they're packing up all of his stuff and like, he's like trying to bargain with Sunny of like, I don't want to leave. I won't watch the Kangaroo song anymore.
Oh, no.
I was just like, oh my God. That killed me.
That's so traumatic.
That was the worst.
No.
God. And now it becomes a race of like, what can we do legally so I can get this kid?
Yeah.
He calls Layla.
Who's got other law stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a shot of him. He's at his kitchen table with all of these books out. You know, he's obviously doing his own studying. And then there's just this loneliness montage where he's actually sitting there watching the kangaroo tape.
Oh, God.
Which is also the worst.
Yeah.
God, it's so sad.
That is awful.
And it's like, in that, just that little thing is like, that is such a perfect illustration of the heartbreak that, oh my God. Again, it's subtle. So then I think we go basically directly to the court scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's up for fraud, I believe.
Something.
Or I can't. It's kind of both. It's kind of both because like they're getting the custody kid taken care of, but they're also dealing with his fraud in kind of one case.
And so, like, he's representing himself, but he also has support counsel of, like, every single person we've met who's a lawyer.
His couple, his friends, they're there. And
Layla ends up showing up.
Layla shows up.
And then Kevin shows up.
Yep, fresh from China.
And then is it here that he tells Sunny that he's like, I remember who this kid is?
It takes some time.
Because I don't think he ever saw the kid, but he learns that the mother moved from Toronto to Buffalo.
Yes.
The kid said he was from Buffalo initially, and
he's like,
Kevin's I was never in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Kevin doesn't say it, but I think he recognizes that he now remembers the mother.
Who he met at a Hooters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just like how he met his current fiance at a Hooters.
And Sunny at this point gives her some slack and is like, I think that was just coincidence.
But yeah, so then there's like this whole heartfelt, like ridiculous, very 90s, like.
It kind of reminded me of the end of like Billy Madison, where there's like a test at the end of a movie where like
it was very much like that.
All the characters come forward and they talk about like his personality and what he's learned over the course of the movie.
And like his dad, he calls his dad as a witness. Like his dad showed up.
He had flown in from Florida.
Yeah, to come to this thing. And it's all this like, I don't even remember what the rah-rah speech was, but it's like, basically, you showed up here, and I make mistakes, and blah, 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 but you always show up, you're my father, and you love me, and I love you, and blah, 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 and I'm going to do the same thing with this kid, and everyone's all, like, crying in the courtroom.
They're all calling their own dads.
Yeah.
Even the homeless guy with his military dad, he was, like, saluting his dad through the phone.
Yeah.
Even though he had like freaked out earlier because of it was like dad issues where he had his breakdown in court back in the seating.
But yeah, part of the speech is like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm going to be a good dad. I'll fly to New York to beat his court case, even if I disagree with why he's there in the first place. Like, you see how much you love me.
Right.
That's how much I love this kid.
Right. And cue waterworks from everybody everywhere.
And eventually the judge is just like, okay, fuck this. Like, this is a shit show.
Yeah.
You can't have this kid. But then Kevin stands up and is like,
as a natural, I
am the child's father. I will not press charges.
Right.
And pending a blood test, she says, fine.
I'm glad it went that way because like the typical movie thing is that, oh yeah, you would root for this guy and the law would be on his side after all of these emotional things.
No.
But again, it was like Billy Madison where it's like immediately shut down. It's like, no, you don't get what you want.
Yeah.
Because
that's not how the world works. You don't just come to a courtroom and cry and then you broke the law, you idiot.
True realism.
So I like that. And I like that they still had that emotional moment up to that point.
Yes.
I'm glad it just didn't influence the other.
It was satisfying, but it was also fair.
Yeah. It's like, no, this isn't how this works.
Because if he just hadn't gotten his way, then it wouldn't have been a comedy, basically.
Right. Yeah, it would be, that would be very strange.
Yeah. So pulling both of those elements, I think, was a really, really strong ending.
Yeah.
But then there's like the tie-up scene at the end, which is 1 year and 3 months later, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So Kevin, after all that, he is the actual father, and you meet him in the park, and they like are starting to, the kid and Kevin are starting to bond.
Yes.
And then it flash forwards like a year and 3 months later, which did Adam Sandler have a baby?
Yes.
Okay. So him and Layla must have gotten married and then had their own child, which means a year and 3 months. That's like 6 months together, and then 9 months later, a baby.
Went right into it.
Woo, that's fast. They go to a Hooters because did Adam get the bar? He
passed the bar exam.
So it's like a celebration for that. They go to the Hooters, just typical joking, and then
the FBI guy from The Wire's in the background.
Oh, I didn't even. Well,
for anybody who would know.
And then Vanessa.
Yeah, they had that moment where Vanessa and then Sid cooking hamburgers.
Oh, nice 5-year plan, I see.
The kid's like, is that the guy with the old balls?
Yeah.
So Kevin and Julian and Corinne have started their family, essentially, with 3 of them.
And Sunny is obviously still very close with
Julian.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see this nice, happy thing, plus the whole, comeuppance of, you did me wrong, Vanessa, and now you're working for Hooters, and whatever. It was kind of weird.
He's, legally his uncle now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the sisters.
Yeah.
They're family.
Yep.
There you go.
He doesn't get to be his dad, but he is there.
Yep. And then did it do a freeze frame?
Let me check my notes.
Please do.
No, there was I have in my notes, silly clip show at end. So I'm trying to remember what. Oh yeah, they went back and they pulled scenes from earlier in the movie, and they had a clip show to finish off the movie, where you would see the beginnings of Julian coming over and the hardships of being a parent.
Oh my god.
It was really cheesy.
Is that the most 90s thing about this movie?
That's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I actually have multiple items on this list.
The payphone definitely for me was super 90s.
I didn't even think about that. I had rollerbladers everywhere, not just in the park, but on the street. There were just people rollerblading, and I think that was prime time rollerblading era.
At the party, Corinne was wearing a bolero jacket.
Oh, yep.
Over
with
the
spaghetti
choker strap. That was all very 90s.
And the haircut too. Her bobby pixie cut
curly
thing.
Yeah.
Landlines and answering machines.
Oh, the answering machines, definitely.
A lot of Hooters jokes.
Yeah.
Slut shaming.
Yeah.
That was hard to go back to and see that. Because
the way that Sunny talked to Corinne.
Yeah, it was I know they hated each other.
Yeah.
But it was every time she was in a scene, he was doing some Hooters joke.
Yeah.
It's just give it a rest.
Where isn't she in medical school?
Yeah. She used that money to.
Right.
Yeah. No shame. Whatever. But yeah, it was a one note joke.
Yeah. The only time I liked it, and this was really early in the movie, was that it was leading up to Jon Stewart saying, "That's Dr. Boobs McGee."
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it kept on and on and on and on after that point. It's who cares? This weird kind of slut shaming going on. The brick cell phones were a very 90s thing. Mm-hmm. I think for me, though, the most 90s thing was acknowledging that same-sex marriage was illegal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just straight up I support your right to get married, acknowledging that they don't have that right at that time.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be very strange going forward.
Yeah, 2015 is a turning point, I guess.
Was there a shot of the 2 towers at all at any point in time?
I don't know.
It was in New York, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They mentioned Manhattan.
I don't know if they did a skyline shot or not.
I don't think so.
I wasn't paying attention.
No, me either. I mean, VHS tapes, obviously.
Yeah. Tiny TV or CRT.
For some reason, I always noticed that the chip bags still had the clear window on them. What was it, Fritos or Doritos or something?
Yeah, Fritos. Also, it's always surprising to me when I don't see computers everywhere.
Yeah.
Or some sort of device. So it's they go in and you can't figure out what time McDonald's breakfast stops. It's if you had a cell phone, you could look it up. or if you had the internet of some sort.
I like that it was around that time when they did change breakfast.
Yeah.
So like even people watching the movie was like, I know. Yeah, I thought it was 10:30.
I know. I was like, yeah, I thought it was 11.
And now it's almost there's a lot of McDonald's places that do all day breakfast.
But it's only a select menu.
Yeah, like Egg McMuffins.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on what my own end questions are.
I just realized that some of the things I mentioned for most 90s would have been used for if the movie holds up or not. Because like I don't think...
Thematically?
Yeah, I don't think holding up the Hooters jokes aren't going to hold up at all.
Yeah, aren't they starting to all close?
I don't know. I've seen...
A lot of them are,
there's one on my way to work, but I don't really hear about people going to any.
You drive a long way, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on the way to work. So I think between that and same-sex marriage, those are the weird things that will be weird to hold up over time. You know, people coming back and seeing this.
It'll be emblematic of how far we have actually come, maybe?
Hopefully.
Let's not talk about the Supreme Court.
Yeah. I think overall as a movie, I was surprised at how well it did hold up. Like I was actually engaged in the movie. It actually emotionally got me. I liked a lot of the stuff that was in it.
It was so much better than I remembered and better than I thought it would be now.
Right.
Yeah, I think aside from like some of the construction, like some of the transitions and some of the dialogue.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like I'm surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did.
So the plot was good, but the craft maybe less so.
Yeah.
Which is fine for a mainstream comedy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was a good plot because it's a very simple thing. It's just a guy gets a kid. And
like the emotional beats were all there.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
I was also surprised at how much I felt that Adam Sandler was such a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, in his subtle moments, he's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just that he's so known for screaming.
Yeah, and being stupid.
Yeah. But when he has those subtle lines about wanting to take this kid and...
Do you think maybe it has a reason to do... Maybe like it's because it's just him? Like
it could be.
I feel like he plays a certain type of character all the time, and it's just like in role playing games where it's like you fit into this groove of a character type, and you just keep doing it. You become really good because it's just natural. It's just you,
right?
And so I wonder, like that whole dialogue on the couch where he was talking about the like their kissing makes me uncomfortable, and he's like
100%.
They're gay. That's what they do.
Scene
dude.
I was thinking about,
and it's like. That's just Adam Sandler, maybe right there.
Yeah, because like as crazy as he gets, at the heart of it. In each of his movies, he's usually playing a good-hearted idiot kind of guy.
Yeah.
Who means well.
A well-meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I wonder if that's just has something to do with, like, he's just
the soft-spoken person.
Not to diminish his skill as an actor, if that's true, that like he's actually acting that way. But I think it's, like I said, like with role-playing games, where it's just like...
Part of being an actor is being able to tap into that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't.
Right.
Like, they can't separate the camera from... what you actually are. So being able to connect to that, I think, is a mark of a good actor.
Yeah.
A lot of his line deliveries were very mumbly, and I found those parts the most believable.
Yeah, I think that worked because a lot of those lines were him talking to the kid or responding to the kid or playing along with the kid, like with the glasses. Like that was really well acted. Like that felt like a really believable thing.
Yeah. We started out talking about how I felt that those three characters could have just been one. We talk a lot about the queer angle of the movies on this podcast because it's something that I think about a lot, and it's something that I was very surprised came up in all of these films at that time. But something that I feel that I've failed to articulate is that so far we've only seen films in which queerness is justified by the plot.
Yeah.
Like American Beauty.
Yeah.
The plot all hinges on that.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, they had to work to put it in there. Like it didn't have a reason to be in there, except to, like you said, shame the one character who was grossed out by it.
Yeah, because there wasn't a point to it, but that's also kind of the point. There doesn't have to be a point.
Like, because people just exist. We just exist. Like, I think what was going back to like what I was saying earlier, we're talking about like what the theme of the movie is, and when it's like acceptance. And I want to think that maybe the producers, director, Adam Sandler, or whatever, writers, maybe they made the conscious decision to, they didn't have to,
right?
But maybe they did make the conscious decision to have two characters be gay because they wanted this movie to have this overall feel of like acceptance, unconditional love. This is how you make family. It doesn't matter who or where you come from or what. This is what this is what being human is. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, they probably made the conscious decision to do that.
Actively do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But to say that there was no point, again, to Brandon's point, is that's the point. Like,
right.
This is a thing that is in the world.
Yeah.
And so get used to it, you other character who's existing to poo-poo it. This is how it is. Deal with it.
Part of what is very 90s of it to me is that they are straight presenting.
Yes.
Which today there is still a problem in Hollywood of showing effeminate or camp characters having relationships. Mm-hmm. There is still a huge problem with that.
Yeah.
But I think in 99, that was sort of a baby steps kind of thing of like, here are these dudes in suits that like sports and get beers and talk law.
High five each other
when they part. Yeah. But then are also very affectionate with each other and are not ashamed because they don't have to be, because they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, well, I think we still have a long way to go now because things are a little different. I think at the time it was probably very, like, I don't know what you had seen in movies up to that point.
The thing is, I don't remember seeing much of anything in movies. So that was part of the shock of my age group, was I can't really think of any other depictions.
This one actually made an impression.
Yeah, especially because they were straight presenting to begin with. So it was out of left field.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't even remember those scenes.
Right.
Like it was such a non-issue for me. I don't know.
Right, before having gotten to middle school where that becomes a slur.
Yeah.
I think it was a good way to sneak that concept in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like right into the party scene. I have my favorite moment is when the kid is starting to be a hassle to deal with, when he's trying to watch the hockey game and he just fills the kid up with junk food.
Yeah.
And then, he's literally passed out on the table. So like now Sonny's watching the hockey game and he's like, they score, or before the score happens, he's eating this Frito. He's got this Frit in his mouth and he's trying so silently to eat it because he doesn't want to wake up the kid. And then like you hear the tiny, tiny crunches. And then he like gets up to like celebrate some score that happened. And in the 2 seconds that the camera was on the table, away from the table and back to the table, the kid has disappeared. And that's when he pulls out the kangaroo tape. That's probably my favorite moment.
Kangaroo song. Having a kid is great as long as his eyes are closed and he's not moving or speaking.
That's what I say about having a dog.
Your dog, maybe.
Yeah. Having a dog's great when she's just asleep on my lap.
And not crying.
And not wanting to play. I'm trying to think of my favorite moment. God, I don't think I really have. I think mine is definitely the Scuba Sam, Scuba Steve, Scuba Squad interaction. I always think that's such a great way how he handled that. Like when I think about parenting and things like that, it's like, what a way to add delight to a child's life. Like there's mystery and like this, Scuba Sam exists. Like Scuba Steve really exists somewhere. And he came to talk to me.
Yeah.
Like that kid's going to remember that moment for a long time. And it was a good moment. And then like also it's teaching him like I said earlier, intrinsic motivation. Like this is something this kid wants to be like. Mm-hmm. He wants that. So here's Sonny presenting a path, but also at the same time teaching the kid about good personal hygiene. About personal hygiene. And I thought that was really, really well done and really well written.
It was very age appropriate because it really struck him.
Yeah.
And then you can see a year later, he already seems a lot more
matured,
a lot more confident, and he's learning to make jokes with Sonny, and he's come a long way. So I think that year later it wouldn't have hit him, but it was at just the right time. I think my favorite thing was Adam Sandler watching the kangaroo tape. It was just like, as a writer that loves making people cry, that did it for me.
I have a couple notes after going through IMDb, because I try to stay away from the site when I go into these because I want to like not be influenced by things. But I found a couple funny things going through, and one was some of the taglines for the movies.
Oh my God.
There's one that says,
taglines are just a 90s thing, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are.
This one says, "Nature called. Look who answered."
What?
What does that mean? Like, without knowing it's Big Daddy, I'm like, is it Bigfoot?
That's Ace Ventura, isn't that?
It feels.
Yeah. And the other tagline was, once you adopt a kid, you've got to keep him.
Okay. Wow.
Really selling that movie there. And the other two things were, one, the Julian was played by twins.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
wow.
no idea.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then
Sprouse kids.
Someone listed this as a goof. During the trial scene, the dad says to cut your nails, they're too long. But when they hug, you can see that his nails don't need trimming.
Oh my God.
So there's your goof for Big Daddy.
Oh my God. Continuity.
That's something a dad would say anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Whatever. God. Big Daddy. What? Also, that title's weird.
Yeah.
I don't get that. What a Big Daddy.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Another thing that came, just because I'm still thinking about that scene with the tape. Does Adam Sandler have kids? I think he does.
I don't know.
I was just wondering if he had kids at that time, because that seems like a very parent way to cope.
Yeah. I think if he doesn't have kids, then the writers...
Somebody else around him did.
There's a lot of what feels like genuine interactions with
children.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just kind of curious.
I completely forgot about the scene where someone insinuated that the kid better stay away from drugs, and you go to school and there's going to be drug dealers everywhere.
Yeah.
So then he goes to the school himself, and he's like trying to pull information from these 5-year-olds or however old they are, whether or not they know about drugs, and they're going to influence Julian. Oh yeah, it was like, you drink rum, you know about rum, and the kid's like, Rumpelstiltskin?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, you're good, stay clean, kid.
Sitting on the jungle gym with these kids.
Yeah, I was surprised. I liked it as much as I did.
Yeah, me too.
It has its problems, but whatever, it's still fine.
I always try to watch the movie twice when we do long episodes, and sometimes I don't look forward to it. I did for this one.
Yeah.
So
I actually sat down and because the first time I forgot to take notes, and then I sat down again. I was going to flip through it to take notes. I ended up watching most of the movie again.
Huh,
cool. Just a very watchable movie.
Yeah, it is. All right, any last thoughts before I stop the recording?
No.
All right, great.